Hello, everyone. Welcome to week two of Abnormal Psychology. So we're down 1 week, and you made it through. So week two is going to be a little bit heavier than week one because in week two you have, the same amount of readings. You have the reading response to reading questions to complete, but you also have your first exam. Okay. And so, how the schedule will be set up is the response to the readings will be posted on Friday, and you'll have to Monday night at 11 p.m. to finish it. And then the exam will post on Saturday, and you'll have to Tuesday at 11 p.m. to complete the exam. And so I sent out last week, I sent out the kind of study tip sheet for the exam. So as you're reading through the textbook, just make sure you know those terms because those are the terms that will be likely showing up on the exam. So if you know those terms well, you should be able to do well in the exam. And so the exam is about 25 multiple choice questions. It will be timed. So you will have to move pretty quickly on it. I mean, you have your book, you can have your book open, you can have notes that you've taken, but the exam moves pretty quickly. So if I would study for it as if you had to memorize those terms. And so when you get to the exam, you won't have to look up many of the questions or concepts because you'll have them already memorized, or at least memorized where they're located in the book, so you can quickly reference them. Okay, but just don't think of this as an open book test where you can just leisurely take your time. It won't be like that at all. It will actually be the opposite of that. It will feel like time is moving very quickly. Okay. What else? The discussion board from last week. I'll talk a bit about what I'm looking for, and then you'll probably see your grade in the next day or two as I grade them. So the perspective that we're looking for when reading about ocean is the socio-cultural perspective, right? The reading starts out pretty lengthy, describing this history of this town or community that you know very similar to the town that Ocean is in, about how over time it's declined, even from the rail system, making it very difficult for people to navigate to nearby towns if they needed something, visiting family, that they have to go into this long trip into Paris and then, kind of out to this other train to another town that's only 8 miles away, that but could take 2 hours to get there. And you also see that they don't have much in this town that Ocean lives in. They don't have a simple grocery store, right? There's a lot of crime, there's drugs. They do have something like a convenience store that sells lottery tickets, but it's just, you know, it's not a community where there are a lot of resources so that people can feel like there is a sense of community and there are things that can benefit them, right, to help them have a better life. And so we're looking at when we look at things like depression and suicide, we often think of, or a lot of people may think, well, something is wrong with that individual. And through the sociocultural perspective and through this narrative, we see that it's not necessarily this individual, it's this environment that they're in, right? And we're looking at the macro environment, like the town, the community, but we're also looking at more micro environments that Ocean's a part of. So we see her job, even though she can't even have a full time job, right? She has this part time job in this kind of nursing care facility, and even there, there's so much that isn't going on, right? Right. Like she seems to really care about the patients, but other coworkers don't. She's seeing people die there, and it's not. You're thinking like maybe if that could be a healthy environment, that would offer her hope, but it's not a healthy environment. And then we see within her own family, that who her father is and how he was abusive, and they don't have a really good connection anymore. We find out that her ex-boyfriend not only raped her but physically beat her, and so we see in within her small context, the people supposed to be close in her life, they're not viewed very supportive or healthy, right, for her. And then she makes this commentary on social media, right? where she, live streams her suicide. And you would think that more people would be reaching out to her, hey, don't do this, and we want to help you, and you know, but people are more excited about what's going to happen, right? People are pretty cruel in their comments. There's a lot of cruel comments made to her as she's, setting this whole thing up. And so the socio-cultural perspective is kind of explaining to us how our mental health is impacted by the culture, the environment, whether it be the macro or the micro environments that we are a part of. And so as we go through this next 5, 6 weeks and we look at every other disorder, not just anything that was related to depression and eventually acts of suicide, but we want to see how does the environment contribute to this? And if we were to create a healthier environment, what would that look like? And how would that help that individual? Okay, so when we read case studies going forward, I want you to kind of keep that in mind. What else? I think that's about it. I really enjoyed watching your videos, learning about each of you, um, and hopefully I will see more videos in the future. Um, Feel free to answer the questions I put into the replies to some of your videos. Um, and speaking of that, if you are going to reply to somebody's discussion board, you will have until tomorrow night to do that. So Thursday will be the cutoff of the previous week, right? And that's to see if you can earn points. Um, okay, so again, if you have any questions about the course, please email me. I generally will reply within 24 hours. But other than that, good luck on week 2. Just remember, plan accordingly because this week you have a reading to response to the readings assignment as well as your first exam. Okay, bye for now.